And yes, that helps a lot. They teach you a lot. You learn to develop yourself as an artist.
You told me once to kill for life, so would you also kill for mine?
Today a shirt because it's my mom's birthday actually. Every time I think about her or also my dad, like my parents, I always really appreciate that they exist. Without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. It's so important to have a good relationship to your parents and also be nice to them and stay in contact. But despite all of that, there is something special about my parents. Both of them, as you know, are artists. Both of them make art for a living. For example, this picture right here is my dad's. And here is one by my mom. So yes, I grew up in an artist family, which isn't that easy, but it also taught me a lot of things about being self-employed, chasing your dreams, staying active no matter what happens. A lot of very, very wise lessons that actually made possible to also fulfill my own dream and become a full-time music producer and DJ.
Don't tell me it's over, it has been so long. Don't tell me it moves you wouldn't be gone. Don't talk about friendship that we never had. Don't wish to keep distance, you're so close in my head.
There are really millions of ways to turn your hobby, your dream into your living, into your job. There is no way for me to cover all of them, and it's constantly changing every year, and with the internet there are new opportunities, so it's always a different way. For example, for my parents it was going to an art academy, the best in Europe, where they learned from like the biggest artists that were still alive. And yes, that helps a lot. They teach you a lot. You learn to develop yourself as an artist. You get a lot of attention. It's good to have it in your biography. People take you way more serious if you do it. But at the end, this still doesn't guarantee you anything. You still have to work hard, harder than the rest, because there's so many people doing art, doing music, doing basically whatever you love doing as a hobby. That's usually something people like doing, and if people like doing something, there is a lot of competition. And for example, for me, it was just figuring things out, starting with DJing, then getting into music production, learning a whole lot online, learning a whole lot from other producers. I actually never went to school or university that had anything to do with music, even music theory, playing instruments. I all teached myself. That's why it's not like the best. I could never play the guitar live in front of people, but it's good enough to record it here and make actually songs out of it. And so many people ask me if it's worth it to go to a university or to a course and learn music production and learn music theory. And it really depends on the type of person you are. For example, for me, the second someone tries to teach me something, I dislike it immediately. I don't know why. It's a little weird, but if I have a teacher that tells me what to do, I just instantly don't like it anymore. For me to be successful, for me to actually like something and stick to it, it was always about finding my own way. So I just started, I looked things up, I started teaching myself everything. And this way you also don't forget the things and you develop it in a different way and you find your own style a lot faster. It might take a little longer because until you figured out how a compressor works, it might take a couple of weeks playing around with it. If someone explains it to you, you can understand it within an hour. So it's definitely faster, but I'm pretty sure if someone just tells it to you, you might also forget it in an hour again. On top of that, back in the days where I started, there were no real music production colleges, universities that were official, just like private ones, where you go 2-3 years, pay a whole lot of money, and at the end you get a certificate that isn't really worth it. It's not really a bachelor or a master. It's not really, it's just not official. So it could happen that you try to find a job with it, and no one gives a shit that you went there for 3 years. And any business that is a creative business, be it art, be it music, be it, I don't know, becoming an actor or anything that is in this kind of field, it really doesn't matter where you studied. It doesn't matter what you learned or what you do, it's really all about your achievements. So for example, if you go to university for 3 years and learn how to produce music, and in that time someone else sits at home and makes tracks the entire time and has a huge release on Spinnin', people will take him way more serious than you that actually learned how to do it the proper way, because no one cares about the proper way. It's all about the end result that you can deliver. So if I had to advise someone to go to music production school, DJ school, or anything like that, if you have the money, if you have someone that supports you, you want to learn it fast, and you like actually being taught by other people, then go for it. You can still teach yourself in your free time even more, which will help and boost you to get there even faster. If you're like me, an idiot that doesn't like to be taught, then just, sit in front of your computer, watch every tutorial you can, try out what those people tell you to do in the tutorials, because a lot of people just tell you shit or are not any producers, so they don't even know what they're doing. They just do it for the YouTube views. Be really careful of these kind of people. Some of them have good advice, but at the end you have to try it out and test it for yourself and see if it works for your style. That's true also for everything I will ever tell you. That's my way of making music. That's how I use a compressor. That's my philosophy behind mixing. If you agree with it or not, doesn't really matter. Just try it out for yourself. It might direct you in the right direction. It might also lead you in a direction that is the wrong one. But at the end, if you tried it out, you at least know. I have a couple more examples that have to do with going to music production school or not. I have some friends that went there, so I want to also give their perspective on it. I will try to call them later. But first, working on the next song, the second song with Gavin. It's still not done. Still trying to mix it, still waiting for some vocal changes that he has to record. I hope I will get them tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, because on Friday I actually want to finish this entire song so that I can release it and have the very first release of the year. Son, yo. Ciao. Okay, all done with a pretty long phone call with one of my colleagues. He's a DJ, or he's actually more a producer than a DJ. He's doing a lot of stuff for German hip-hop artists, like the really, really big ones. He did a lot of stuff for Qatar. It's German hip-hop guy, gangster hip-hop stuff. And Farid Bang. I don't know. If you live in Germany, you definitely know them. If you don't live in Germany, no chance you know anything about them. But I called him because he actually went to one of those music schools, universities, and he told me a couple of pros and cons. Okay, never ever take a sheet of paper from your desk without actually knowing what it is. It's not too bad. But that's like my GEMA, my royalty collecting company. I got a new statement. First time actually making some money, and I need it for my taxes, and it's not good to have a pro and con list on the back of it. But anyways, let's get into the pros and cons he mentioned. I think there's a lot of valuable information for you. The first pro he mentioned was actually that it was way less likely for him to give up. A lot of his producer friends that started with him before the university gave up in the meantime, and because of him going there, he couldn't give up because he was there studying, paying for it, so it made him way more likely to stick to what he actually wanted to do. He said it was extremely good for connecting, for getting to know other music producers. He's still in really good contact with most of his other students. He also said, as I already said, it's better for people that need guidance, that need someone that actually teaches things and knowledge to them. Another pro, they had multiple huge studios, SSL desks, compressors, everything you could ever dream about, and he could use it in his spare time and work on free projects and just work on his own music and actually already make money selling beats while he was there. Now to the cons. First one he said was it felt really like school, and we all know school. It sometimes feels forced. You sometimes don't want to learn that specific stuff, and you still have to do it. And the next point is directly linked to it. He told me he had to learn a lot of stuff he wasn't interested in, like how SSL compressor works in the inside, all of the connections, the electrical stuff and cables, and a lot of theory that you actually don't need to make music. It's more for people repairing equipment and this kind of stuff. Also, his biggest con was that it was for people that wanted to be an engineer, a mastering engineer, work in a studio, record artists, like being an employee, this school actually helped because the certificate is kind of okay. People see it as an advantage to someone that doesn't have one. But he said if you want to be an artist, a hip-hop producer, a EDM guy that is making productions and DJing, it doesn't actually help because, as I also already said, the industry doesn't really care. He was also entirely missing everything that has to do with music business. You don't learn it there because it's more meant for music producers, music engineers, people in the back of a stage mixing a concert live. So how to actually promote your music, how to find a label and all these kind of things, they didn't cover it at all. Then he also said some of the teachers were really good and some of them were really bad. So the courses heavily depended on the knowledge of the teacher. He also said a lot of them were like failed producers, failed DJs, failed artists. And because they didn't have an alternative, they became teachers. And he said it's a little bit frustrating to learn from people that actually didn't make it. So that were all of his points. He also mentioned that he doesn't regret it, but he think he could have been in the same spot as he is right now without the school, because for him it was making a lot of beats in his free time, getting connected to the right hip-hop guys, hanging out with them, smoking shisha and all the other kind of things that gangster hip-hop guys do. And that's also what I think. It's not the school that makes you, it's you that makes you and gets you to where you want to go. The school might help, it might not help. It's at the end really up to you, to your actions, to your effort, your time and dedication that you put into it. Possible without the school and possible with the school. All done for today with work. It was a great day, a lot of success. Pretty sure that I will finish the track. Yeah, I actually don't know. It always takes longer than I think it actually takes, so I won't say anything anymore. But there is actually one way that is the best way, in my opinion, to actually learn anything. Music production, DJing, any kind of art form. It's so good that I will actually dedicate tomorrow's video entirely to it and explain everything about it. Also, don't forget, the remix contest started yesterday. If you want to participate, just check out yesterday's video. And now it's time to celebrate my mom's birthday. That will be a whole lot of fun. I got her a really cool present and dinner, so perfect evening. Also, if you're interested to follow my life as a DJ and producer in a daily vlog form, feel free to subscribe, like. We will see us tomorrow again with this other very important method. Sign out.
Told you once I'd be by your side. Why won't you be here next to mine? If you